Hello! I've got some more records to show, and I finished this picture. Which I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest. I copied a design. I just wanted to see, I needed to do something new. And when I'm feeling like that, it's just easier to copy something. So, I mean, technique-wise, I suppose it's worked out all right. I've looked at it again now, and I don't think it's symmetrical in its design. Look at that bit there. And then, look at that bit. I haven't worked out the geometry, whether because each square has only got one line of symmetry, and I'm expecting that there'll be two lines of symmetry because it's a grid. My maths isn't that good. Maybe it's impossible to have perfect symmetry. That's too much for me to think about at the moment. Anyway, that's that. So, yeah, there's a load of stuff here. I mean, there's no denying I've spent some money. But I've found some brilliant things. And I've been watching a few videos recently. I've definitely spent less than... this is doing my head in. Than that Beatles anthology box set, which I've seen a few people showing. So yeah, I've spent some money. There's a handful of cheap things as well. This being one of them. So I found another copy of this, which I've shown recently. This is from 1980, and I recorded Brontosaurus, Will You Wait For Me? So that's had about 100 plays now since I've uploaded it. I would say the vast majority of those are down to me. But yeah, just absolutely just amuses me every time, that song. So I've been playing that loads. This is Hoyt Axton, Less Than the Song. So this is from 72 or 73. And yeah, I rate this album. I've had a few of his. There's one that I really like that's got a cover of the song The Pusher, which that's a keeper. I haven't kept any others, but yeah, I mean, I like the whole of this. There's a couple of comments on Discogs saying the same. Someone said low-key, live in the studio vibe, nothing short of a lost classic, every song a winner. Yeah, I mean, this is a cheap record. So, worth getting, I reckon. Same with this. This was cheap. So this is Paul Downs. This is on the Sweet Folk and Country label, which is signed here, look, which I don't think I've kept anything else on that label. I think the reason that I grabbed this was because I looked at the list of instrumentation, and he plays all sorts. There's plenty going on here, but I mean, it was cello and synthesizer that jumped out at me, and really I want to hear any record that features either of those. But yeah, looking into it, it's from 78, this album, and somebody's left a comment on Discogs basically saying that they had the opportunity to listen to the first 125 releases on this label. I think this is like 83 or 63, was it? 86. Yeah, and reckons that this was the standout of the first 125. None of these tracks were on YouTube, and yeah, I mean, I rate quite a lot of them. I've recorded a couple: You'll Be Next and Changeless Story. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I think there's a couple of other albums of his on this label that were early 70s. Maybe, I think this is the only one that's just in his name. The others are maybe with other people. But yeah, this is a keeper. Yeah, so where have I been shopping for records? I've been to Minster Records in Beverley recently. Got loads of things there. So much interesting stuff. All priced sensibly, and you know, I spent more than £100, and he gave me 10% off. Yeah, so that's where this is from, and I'd been looking out for this Bill Withers album, Adjustments, from 74. So it was priced at £30. I mean, it is excellent. I mean, you can see like the inner's pretty immaculate, really. So I think I've mentioned, you probably can't see there, but some of these tracks feature Dorothy Ashby on harp. Yeah, and there's some better well-known ones. There was a couple of singles. I think Ruby Lee was a single, and what's the other one? The Same Love That Made Me Laugh, I think. But there's a track, Stories, which is maybe a little bit more reflective than some of the more upbeat ones or the most popular ones. But yeah, that features Dorothy Ashby on harp, and yeah, it sort of just fitted in nicely with some of these other records that I'm showing here. So yeah, I've put that one on the playlist. Yeah, this is Lee Wiley. So this is vocal jazz from late 50s, 57, but this is actually a repress. It's a Japanese repress. But, I mean, maybe that was what sort of made me decide. I mean, it was £1.39, which isn't too bad, but it's probably not worth a lot more than that. Yeah, so I just say it's an 80s repress of a 1950s US vocal jazz recording, and I just thought if somebody in Japan is going to the trouble of reissuing this in the 80s, there must be something about it which is worthwhile. And it's actually had quite a few represses through the 70s and into the 80s, possibly into the 90s. There's quite a few pressings of this beyond the original US one. Yeah, and it's really nice. All the arrangements on it are stunning. I mean, somebody's gone to some length to explain why it's such a remarkable recording. Does feature harp as well, so there's a couple of tracks where the harp playing is a bit more prominent. So yeah, I've gone with one of those. Who Can I Turn To is the track that I've put on there. Yeah, so I'm keeping that. So I've got this in Beverley. So this is Kalima. This is on Factory Records. I wasn't aware of Kalima until fairly recently. Don't know if you can see there, but is that focusing? I mean, basically they're a contemporary jazz band, but with members from a certain ratio. So this features Jez Kerr, Anthony Quigley, Martin Moskrop. So they're all from ACR. Also Anne Quigley, she's on vocals, so that's Aunt Tony Quigley's sister. Yeah, this is their debut from 86. I've got a couple of later releases. I think I've got an album from 1990. And yeah, I mean, it was £12, so he's probably knocked me £1 off there at least. And it's one really clean copy. Yeah, really enjoyable. I'm not sure I love her voice. I mean, I kind of like it. It's just she's not my favourite vocalist. There's a few instrumentals on there as well, so I've put one of those on the playlist. Father Pants, I think it's called, actually. Yeah, so happy with that. Like I say, it's on Factory. That's the label. So this is Sumac. She's from Peru. So this is an interesting record. So I got this from Covers 33. I had to go get some more packaging for things on eBay, and so I looked through. I know he's going through all these records that he's got pallets of, and I know he's been putting some of the nicer things on his Discogs. So I just had a scan through those, and yeah, there was a handful of things that I grabbed actually, but yeah, this was listed on there. I think he had it listed at 20 quid. He got a few things, so he gave me a decent discount, and. Yeah, so she's like I say, she's soprano singer from Peru, but this is her last recording actually from '72, and I think she'd had a bit of a break of about 10 years, and it's all written and produced by Les Baxter, with these guys as the backing band, and so Les Baxter, sort of easy listening, big band. Sort of exotica and space age. He's done all sorts of things, and yeah, so it's a really interesting listen, and people are sort of suggesting that this band's a bit sort of, I don't know, got a bit of a funk rock or a bit of a psychedelic feel to it in places, and yeah, and so she's using her vocal as an instrument as much as delivering a lyric. Yeah, so I'm into this. I played this again this afternoon, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Flame Tree is the track that I've put on the playlist. So yeah, this is a UK pressing on London. Yeah, well, when John did his sort of 10 years in the VC, I was looking at 45s that I wanted to include. And this track sort of jumped out as like, oh yeah, I used to play that loads back in the day. But I didn't actually have it, so I thought I'm going to look out for that. And then, yeah, within a few weeks, it's turned up. So this is the debut single from Roxy Music. But I'd never heard the B-side before, which is the Numberer. And yeah, this is a non-album B-side, which is instrumental, and it's great. So that's worth checking out. Similar one with this actually. I got lucky and found this Johnny Harris Orchestra, Footprints on the Moon. This is from '69. So this is a single from the Movements LP. But yeah, same. It's got a non-album B-side, which is Lulu's Theme, which is also really good. This was from Minster Records, so The Poets of Rhythm, and I'd never seen this album before. I've got their debut from '93, so yeah, I was definitely not leaving this behind. Again, really, well, there's a little bit of damage there, which probably I didn't notice that, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's a double. Really like this label design actually. Yeah, so they're a German, it's retro-inspired modern funk band. Yeah, sort of making the sort of music that you could imagine people wanting to sample, really. But yeah, this is another one that's been reissued by Daptone more recently. But yeah, this is an original. What label's that on? Quantum Project, is it? Oh no, it's Ninja Tune. Yeah, it's Zen. Is the catalogue number? I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, as I've said before, my eyes are bad. Yeah, so that was 25 quid, but he knocked me a bit off, so it was, yeah, a decent price. The Wild Magnolias. I did not know this record. This was from Beverly as well. So I looked it up, and someone had just put a comment on Discogs saying some dope talkbox on B1, which was enough to get me interested. That's actually the track that I've put on. Corey Died on the Battlefield, but the whole of this record is ace. I could have put any of the tracks on there. Yeah, it's on Barclay. So yeah, they're not New Orleans. Yeah, sort of heavy funk band really. Yeah, well happy with that. This one, maybe this was a little bit of a mistake. This was from Beverly as well. Azoto. So this is sort of Italian studio disco project from 79. This was released, and so there's only 5 tracks on here, and my favourites are Anytime or Place and Exalt. But I've actually got those 2 tunes on a Ramshorn 12-inch single reissue from the mid-80s. And the other 3 the other 3 tracks on here, I'm not totally sold on. Maybe the sort of vocals a little bit too poppy for me. I don't know, but anyway, that Anytime or Place is a great tune, so I've put that on the playlist. It's on this Vedette label. This was from Covers 33, so this is Honeycomb. I think I've shown them before, and I don't think I've ever seen this record before, and was after this. This is their debut from 1970. So a 3-piece sort of girl group from LA, put together by Edward Holland of Holland Dozier Holland fame. Yeah, and quite a few of these are familiar to me because I've got a best of comp as well. Sunday Morning People's amazing, so I've put that on there. It's on this Hot Wax label. Tommy McCook. So yeah, I got this on Chesterfield Market. Seemingly there's a second-hand market on a Monday, and there's a guy that does CDs, and he's selling a few records for his mate. And yeah, so this was priced at £14. This is a reissue from 74 on Attack, and it's actually the debut album by the Skatalites from 69, which I was reading up. I'm not sure whether that album was kind of released when they'd split up. But yeah, I mean, it's Jamaican ska, and it's really good. So I've put a couple on there. Tommy McCook plays sax, obviously. When You Call My Name and Carry Go Bring Home, I think are the ones. Carry Go Bring Come, sorry. Yeah, so I was happy with that. Well pleased with this. So didn't know this. This was from a shop. I was over Hull way, and there's a shop a bit out of town near the university called Go Records. It's on Cottingham Road, properly old school. Unfortunately, like, all the prices are internet prices basically. So it was hard work finding anything, but I found this and I looked it up. I mean, he had it priced at £25. So it's Lancelot Lane. I think this is from 74. So yeah, it's a Steelband record. I think this must be everybody else who plays on the record, because it's just remarkable in terms of the amount going on and instrumentation. Like, there's, some of the tracks feature violin, and it's just brilliant. I listened to one track and I just thought, I'm getting this. Yeah, and the whole thing's great. There's actually been I think there's a 2 LP compilation that's been released in the last few years that features quite a lot of these, well, a few tracks from this album. I think this is his only album. So yeah, Carnival drum songs on that compilation, and so I've put that on the playlist. Not all of these are on YouTube though, so I've actually recorded one of them. Steelband's Man. It's here in the track list. Steelband's Man, yeah. So yeah, that's really good. I've put that on there. It's on this label. What is that label? KH Records. Sorry, again, I'm not doing my research. Confessions of a Selector, Tim Love Lee. So I got this in Chesterfield from Tall Bird Records, and this was 20 quid. This was out in 97, and it's again like a pretty really clean copy. And I sort of was familiar with the name Tim Love Lee. I've probably seen his name on remixes and things like that. So I was looking into him, and Discogs had him down as being the head honcho of Tummy Touch Records, which is the label this is on. Got me thinking more than anything else. Got me thinking, where does that name even come from, head honcho? Anyway, it's actually derived from a Japanese name, and popularized by American servicemen in World War II. Just in case you're interested. But this record is excellent. Again, I'm relying on Discogs to help me with some descriptions here, but someone said this: firmly tongue-in-cheek without being cheesy. This sounds like the soundtrack from Shaft, recreated by an eccentric English person using nothing but other records. So I think it is entirely constructed out of samples, and so yeah, it's 90s electronica informed by funk and hip hop really. I think there's just one track which is pretty terrible, which is the last one, which seemingly everybody else on Discogs agrees doesn't need to be there. Rough Butt is the track that I've put on the playlist. So this is Ultramarine Sketches. So I was sort of familiar with this because I really like Ultramarine. So this is a promo single from 95. It's got 2 remixes of 2 tracks from their album Bel Air, 2 new tracks, Fandango, Naff Gonad. So there's I think there's 100 of these on Discogs now, maybe about 10 of them for sale, 90 in people's collections. So these 2 tracks here, Fandango and Naff Gonad, this single was only ever released as a promo, so you can only get those 2 tracks on here. And the 2 remixes, same, exclusive to this release, I think. So I think it's Harmony Street. This remix is by Graham Sutton of Bark Psychosis, which is brilliant. I absolutely love that. And this exclusive track, Naff Gonad, also great. So, he had it priced at a tenner, which is a little bit above the median. He's probably knocked me a quid off. So delighted with this. For me, that just represents great value for money. This is Cabaret Voltaire. This is their single Keep On from 1990. It's the Mayday mix, which is Derek May of he's sort of Detroit techno artist, and yeah, I guess around this time they're sort of fairly involved in the sort of Sheffield scene and sort of early techno and bleep productions, and I think they were releasing things on Warp Records, and yeah, this is from an album from the same year, from 1990. Groovy, Laid Back and Nasty, I think, is the album title, which I've had before and not kept, but this is the second single taken from that album that I've kept because I like one of the remixes, so maybe that's the way to go with that. This is Spacemen 3. Big City. So this is from '91. Yeah, I mean, I really like this track. This was from Beverley as well, priced at 20 quid. Really, really clean copy. So by the time so this is from what's the Recurring's the album, isn't it? Recurring's the 4th album that Spaceman 3 released. But they'd already split up by the time it was released, because I think they fell out spectacularly during the making of it, to the point of they just did a side each. So this is from side 1, Big City, and yeah, that's by Pete Kempler. But yeah, this is an amazing track. Kind of like the label. This looks cool when it's spinning. Yeah, so I'm pleased to get that. Yeah, so speaking of Graham Sutton, I picked up this Bark Psychosis single. Yeah, this is actually the debut single from 1990. Nothing Feels, and is that going to focus? And I Know. I think I Know's my favourite. I don't know why there's only 2 tracks on this, because there's a CD single and you get 4 tracks, and you could have easily put all 4 on a 12-inch, I'm sure. But yeah, I've been listening to that track more and more, and yeah, it's a bit of a grower, really. I think some of they didn't release their debut album until '94, so there's a few singles which I think are just all, yeah, non-album releases, really. So there's probably a few others I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. But I mean, yeah, it's early '90s shoegaze essentially. Finally picked up another copy of this. So this is the free single from NME that's got the Cocteau Twins Ivo new version. Did used to have this, but I gave it away to someone else that I thought probably wanted it more than me, but I just thought another copy will turn up eventually, and it hasn't taken too long. So yeah, it's just a remix of the track from Treasure. It's not radically different from that version. And then finally, yeah, I got this Cabaret Voltaire single, Extended Play. So I think this is actually their debut release. So it's a 4-track EP. So Chris Watson's in the band at this point, as well as Stephen Mallender and Richard Kirk. So Richard Kirk sadly passed away in the last few years. Stephen Mallender and Chris Watson are performing live again. So I've got a ticket to see them next year, which I'm excited about. But yeah, the standout track on this is Do the Mussolini, which Do the Mussolini Head Kick, I think is the title. They are definitely an anti-fascist band, so don't get the wrong idea. Yeah, it's on Rough Trade. That's it. Cheers.